What's up, YouTube? I wanted to share a quick video because we got our hands on the new Forerunner pricing that was sent out to all the Toyota dealerships. And it's exciting. It shows the breakdown on all the trim levels with the options that will be available. So, number one, the first thing that I wanted to point out is that these will be made in Japan at the Tahara plant. And they're starting right now on the gas models, and the hybrids will begin in February. Now, this video, I'm gonna give you some advice. If you're on this channel, chances are you're interested in modifying Toyotas for off-roading and overlanding. If you're not, you'll just see the pricing in this and I'll address a couple of things, but this will be geared towards considerations to take when purchasing a vehicle with the intention of modifying it. And we would prefer you do it here at Mountain Yotas. So I'm gonna skip all the trims to begin and just jump down to the pricing because that's why you're here. It's going to start two-wheel drive SR5 at $40,770. I don't know why you would get that. I guess if you're just dailying it and you live in Southern California, that might be okay. You can get into one relatively inexpensive as far as pricing for new vehicles goes in the US right now in 2024, all the way up to the Pros at $66,900. These prices do not include dealer handling fees or delivery fees, so that's usually going to be about $1,000 ish, nominal compared to the overall price of the vehicle. If you ever run into a dealership that's trying to sell you a Toyota above MSRP, leave. Go to Mountain States Toyota in Colorado. They are extremely reputable. They are ethical. We have seen them do the right thing when they didn't necessarily have to choose to do the right thing because they are just a great dealership and we love the people over there. Salesman, I'd recommend Dylan Batch. I've purchased several vehicles from him and he's just great. So Dylan Batch at Mountain States Toyota, they're never going to sell things over MSRP. Great people. They're not going to sell you things that are unnecessary. Just go there. If you're anywhere near here, it's actually worth the trip. And here you go. Let's break down every one of these. I'm going to go pretty quick. The SR5, cool thing about the SR5 is that you can get a third row seating. Really neat if you have a lot of kids, you haul around their friends all the time. Cool thing to have. It's a great option. That only comes in one other trim level, which we'll get to shortly. But what's not cool about this is it does not come in the hybrid option. This is only gas. Now, I have a Land Cruiser 250 series that is a hybrid with this exact same drivetrain. And I have a 24 Tacoma, which is not hybrid in this same drivetrain. My Tacoma's built, it's on 37s. Portals are on the way for it, but I would really recommend going with the hybrid. Having both myself, it's a huge, huge difference. And I do regret not getting the hybrid for my Tacoma. I wish I would have just been patient and waited another 2 months because I'm not going to say it's a race car. It's not like really fast, but it is surprising how much faster the hybrid option is on this 4-cylinder turbo drivetrain that Toyota has. And also, this has been used in the RX Lexuses for a while. So everybody that says, oh, we'll see if they hold up. It's been years. They hold up. It's a great motor. I wish it was a bigger displacement. Of course, everybody does, but Toyota knows what they're doing, guys. It's 2025 coming up here. Their engineers are awesome. And with this, you know, talk online about Toyota and the negativity on like the 8-speed transmission. The transmission has been awesome for me. As a shop, it kind of stinks that like the torque is so good and the transmission now is an 8-speed because that means we don't have to do re-gears. And we do re-gears all the time and it's labor intensive and shops kind of live and die based on labor. We don't make a ton of money on parts. The margins are not as big as you would imagine. So you don't have to re-gear these. I'm on 37s and it still has plenty of torque, plenty of get up and go. But if it was a hybrid, whew, it would be awesome. Now, things that aren't cool about the SR5 drivetrain. You can't get the bigger screen. You can't get the Softex leather with the heated and cooled seats. There's a whole bunch. Yeah, you're going to have safety sense, which all of them have. You're going to have Apple CarPlay, and it is wireless. That is neat. But I would definitely step up. And I probably wouldn't consider the next one the TRD Sport either. This has a hood scoop on it. It's not functional. Actually, Sibon hoods, I saw at SEMA that they have a functional hood scoop for a 24 Tacoma, so I would imagine they're going to have that really soon for the new Forerunners as well. Comes with 20-inch wheels. How sporty. I would not recommend 20s on anything unless you're running 40-inch tires. We want more rubber and less wheel, especially in Colorado, even as just a daily driver with potholes. Don't do 20s. It is weird looking to me on off-road based vehicles and overlanding centric vehicles. Even 18s are kind of strange to me. The only reason you'd want an 18 is if you had a big brake kit and you can't fit your caliper behind the wheel. But even power brakes on Tacomas, you can still fit 17. So if you get a good wheel with the right offset, you can even do big brake kits and not worry about it. Now, what is cool about the TRD Sport is you can get the premium package. So that means you get the bigger screen, which is really nice. You can get the heated and cooled seats. And this one is where the power rear window, that classic Forerunner window rolling all the way down, starts. So you have to at least get the premium sport package to get that. Here is where I would start the off-road, and I personally would get the TRD Off-Road Premium. And again, I would get the hybrid. So let's revisit this pricing again really quick. Here is the hybrid section. Here is the gas section. TRD Off-Road starts at $49,000 and the Off-Road Premium at another $5,000 on top of that. In my opinion, well worth it. And then it's really well worth going to $57,000 to get the Off-Road Premium in a hybrid. That is worth every penny. That's the most bang for your buck on anything you could do, any option you could have on this vehicle. TRD Off-Road Premium Hybrid version is the one to get, in my opinion. Those do come with the Bilstein monotube shocks. I would definitely recommend switching that out to, Bilstein's awesome, but the OEM shocks, even as we'll get into on the higher trim levels, they're not fantastic shocks. If you're not going to build it, they work great. But if you plan on building it, you're going to want more suspension travel and you're going to want a beefier shock. So this does obviously have the option to get the 14-inch screen, the multi-terrain monitor, and heated and trim seats. I do wish that this had the sway bar disconnect. I'm not sure if they're going to offer that in an off-road premium or not, but it doesn't look like it here so far. This is also classically where Toyota starts offering the rear differential lock. So great thing to have. If you get any trim level without a rear locker, we can add them. It's like $1,200 in parts and about 4 hours of labor. So it's worth having a locker for sure. The difference between having a locker and not having a locker is basically the same jump that you take from a two-wheel drive to a four-wheel drive vehicle as it relates to off-roading. It's definitely something you're going to want to have if you're going to go off-road, especially on harder obstacles. Now, personally, I don't really like any limited or platinum trim levels. These are, kind of fancier. I wouldn't start with one of these to modify personally either. They come with 20s. There's a whole bunch of chrome on the limited. What is cool about this is that you can get a third row in the limited. So if you're going to get a third row Forerunner, jump up into the limited powertrain. And I really only say that simply because you can get it in a hybrid. I would swap out the wheels and tires. I would black out all the chrome. Even the factory roof rails actually have chrome on them. I just don't like how it looks. The platinum looks more like undercover drug dealer soccer mom poser. Again, it comes with 20s. You can't get the third row in the platinum. It is only available in a hybrid. Let's go check pricing once again. So that limited is going to be $60,000 and the platinum is $62,800. Skip it. It's my professional opinion. All right, the Trail Hunter is another thing that, in my opinion, you can skip. The reason is I think that Toyota corporate doesn't really have their fingers on the pulse of the actual off-road and overland market. They have well-established deep roots with ARB, OME. So this thing comes with a snorkel, a goofy 3/4 roof rack, and OME shocks. Now, the OME shocks are going to be an upgrade because they're 2.5s. They have remote reservoirs, so you can put more fluid in those shocks. So it's going to help with heat dissipation on more higher end performance stuff. But I think that they kind of missed the mark. What I love about Toyota doing the Trail Hunter is that they're thinking about off-road mods. They're thinking about aftermarket friendliness. Clearly, they know from a corporate strategy level that they want to keep these aftermarket friendly, and they're thinking about aftermarket stuff. That's cool. This, though, kind of misses the mark for me. I understand why. They have huge insurance policies. They have a huge legal team. They're going to only do certain things and not push it so far and keep everybody nice and happy that's on the board of directors there. If you have money for the Trail Hunter, $66,900. It's the same price as the Pro. Go with the Pro. These are hybrid only as well. They do have the diff, obviously a locking diff factory. And then the Fox 2.5s, these are actually nice shocks. They have internal bypasses, and the 24 Tacoma that we got our hands on, you can adjust them. I assume that's the same thing. So you can adjust how stiff or plush the ride is. It's not a huge difference, but they are adjustable. Do not expect them to perform anywhere near the same as like Fox DSCs that have dual adjusters, or any high-end Fox stuff, or any high-end stuff that comes with internal bypasses. They are kind of very entry-level Foxes, but internal bypasses are really cool. So what that's going to do is it's going to dampen automatically as you are in different places in the stroke of that shock. So internally, there's valving as that piston head is moving up and down the shock body that changes how stiff it is automatically, depending on where it's at in the travel. Very cool stuff to have. A huge thing on these is the stabilizer disconnect. So you can push a button and your sway bar is disconnected. Very cool thing to have, because when we take sway bars off all the time, you are risking rollover more easily, but what you get is more suspension travel when you don't have a sway bar. So having a disconnect keeps you real happy, safer on the highways, less chance of having a rollover incident. But then when you're off-roading, you can just push a button and get more travel out of your shocks in the front. So again, I would start at this off-road premium. The hybrid version really for me is the way to go. We can get you a really good build done. If, let's say you got this Forerunner hybrid right here and you got the premium, you're at $57,770. So the split between that, you've got over 12,000. Well, let me do my math over again. You've got like $9,000. That's going to get you a really good suspension package. That's going to get you wheels and tires and probably a roof rack installed as well. So I'd say go for that off-road premium and save that money to modify and do more stuff that's geared towards exactly what you want it for and what your goals are. There's also some options to look at down here. The one that sticks out to me is a moonroof. I like having a moonroof a lot. $850 if you get that premium package with the hybrid on the off-road. Other than that, if there's something specific that you want to get into, feel free to pause it. They do have $475 additions for the specialty colors. And that's pretty much all I got. This is going to all be available on toyota.com/Forerunner starting tomorrow, but we got this info tonight. So there you go. What do you think? Is it too expensive? Did they miss the mark? Are you going to build yours? Or are you just going to get a platinum and start selling weed to kids at school? No, don't do that. We're happy to help with any off-road modifications. Here at Mountain Yotas, we're on I-70 Wadsworth in Colorado. Find us on Instagram at MTN Yotas, Yotas, obviously. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting a like on the video and sharing and subscribing. Go check out some of our adventure videos, guys. The Telluride trip was amazing. It says something about San Juans in the title. Go check that out. And I hope you have a great night.